All right, okay. I think you can hear me now. Um, present. So, hello. uh, so I'm Will, as you know, and this is my final project. Sorry, this is like the first time I've done something like this, and had a little trouble getting the my screen to record and with the audio, but I got it figured out. So, mine is on topic 5: health, well-being, and social flourishing. Um, and yeah, let's get right into it. So, sorry. So we all know college is pretty stressful, deadlines, classes, and a lot of social pressure from, various reasons, friend groups, RAs. But even though we talk a lot about self-care, um, and I did quote hands, by the way, most of us don't actually prioritize it. When we do have time for free time, it's usually spent passively, like scrolling on our phones. I believe they call it doom scrolling on Instagram Reels or TikTok, or binge watching something. Rarely do we make time for actual like meaningful leisure. Things that actually recharge us, like going outside, as an example. So here's the problem: the lack of meaningful leisure in student life is contributing to burnout, isolation, and worsening mental health. Many students aren't socially thriving because there aren't just enough opportunities for connection that feel casual, feel casual, or just restore us. And this kind of leads us to a cycle where we're never on all the way. We're always just recovering, mentally or socially. So the research does back this up. The Healthy Minds study found that 60% of college students reported poor mental health in 2022. The Harvard study of adult development says that social connection, not success or money, is the number one predictor of well-being. Other studies show that active leisure, like walking or connecting, improves emotional regulation. On the flip side, passive leisure, especially scrolling through social media, often makes mental health worse. The more we ignore leisure, the more we suffer. So I did start brainstorming. What if campuses had designated leisure spaces designed by students? Digital detox days or social events that weren't about partying but about connecting. What if we integrated leisure into academics, like giving credit for attending creative or wellness workshops? I looked at a bunch of ideas and ranked them by how realistic and impactful they could be. So this is my best solution. Just wellness and leisure program. It would give students flexible choices, creative classes, social clubs, low key fitness activities, and count towards graduation. It would be shaped by student input, so it stays fun and relevant. The goal is to offer structured leisure that doesn't feel like one more thing on the to-do list, but something that like truly adds to student life. And having the students actively involved in it will really help it kind of prevent from going out of style. I know not every student will be like super pumped about this idea. Some might say they don't have time or just, want to go do something else. That's why it needs to be accessible, optional, within categories, and not super overwhelming. Faculty and staff buy-in would be key, and the program would have to be flexible enough to fit a range of interests. The biggest assumption I'm making is that students want this, and I do think they do want this because when I first got here, I did want it. We need to ask them directly in the design phase. So, some conclusion and outcomes. Real well-being is more than just surviving college. It's about flourishing, and I've really flourished at MT, and I've had a lot of opportunities to flourish. But sometimes I do feel like, I'm in a fraternity, so I feel like a lot of the times it is just partying. But I've been involved in various other campus activities, and my fraternity isn't just all about partying, but leisure helps us recharge, reconnect, and restore our sense of meeting. If we build intentional, flexible leisure programs into campus life, we'll see improvements in mental health, social connection, and academic performance. It's not just a feel good extra, it's a foundation we really need to invest in for the future. Thank you for listening, and thanks for bearing with me. I know this might be kind of late, um, but my computer's just being difficult, and I've been stuck at work all day. And here are my sources, but I'll see this later. Thank you for listening, and thank you for all your help this semester.